Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. We are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post here in our Concord, North Carolina studios from the Lethal Chassis Studios up in Pennsylvania. Ashley Stremme, as always, my co-host. Hello, Ashley. How are you?
I am great, Steve. Just been watching some good racing here in central Pennsylvania and waiting for these World of Outlaws to roll into town.
Boy, I am telling you, Pennsylvania in September is the spot to be at, and the racing has been good, that's for sure. Have you had any guests drop by yet, or has it been quiet? Because you guys a lot of times are party central during the week.
We are. It's been pretty quiet this year. Hunter Schoenberg was going to stop by, but he ended up destroying a car before he came to Port Royal, so that changed plans a little bit. But it's been pretty quiet until things start to actually roll into Port Royal Speedway for the World of Outlaws here in 2 weeks.
I am sure it'll go through the roof at that point. Let's take a lap around the sprint car world, and we're going to start right up there in central Pennsylvania. Turn number one, the Dirt Classic at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway. Brent Marks, he started 10th, okay? A last lap pass down in turns 1 and 2 to get the win, $20,000. It was Marks, it was Macri that he passed, Anthony Macri and Justin Peck. And Ashley, the year of Brent Marks continues.
It's true, Steve. I know that Macri is probably kicking himself by getting a little high there and getting in the fence and letting Marks by, but Mark's 17th win of the season, second of the weekend because he won Thursday at BAPS, fifth All-Star win and third win of the season at Lincoln. Steve, I don't know if anybody's keeping track at this point, but I'd love to know what that tally is on feature win totals when it comes to the dollars and cents column.
Well, someone is. There's a sprint car rating system out there, and I went on there, okay? He has 3 wins at Lincoln, 3 at Williams Grove, 2 at Eldora and Port Royal. So let's see. Lincoln, Williams Grove, Eldora, Port Royal, that's not bad. BAPS, Devil's Bowl, not a bad racetrack to win at. Hagerstown, that little place in Knoxville, Iowa, he has a win. Outlaw Speedway, Portsmouth over in Ohio, Jeff Niddle's place, and up at Sharon. So he's won at some of the greatest racetracks, and this money number is staggering. $592,321. Ashley, to give you an idea, there are 5 drivers. His 5 closest drivers are all within the $300,000 range. He is like $180,000 more money made this year than the next best driver. It is unreal what Brent Marks is doing, and the party continues. That is turn number 1. Turn number 2, the Hockett-McMillian Memorial. Jesse Hockett, Daniel McMillan, 2 great guys, one a mechanic, one a racer that we lost years ago. Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, 79 drivers showed up. Wayne Johnson picked up the win. The podium on this one was Wayne Johnson over Blake Hahn and Scott Podewski. But Ashley, it was a big weekend for Wayne and a big weekend for everybody out there.
It sure was. On Thursday, Tim Crawley picked up the win. Friday, Ayrton Genitin. It's his career first ASCS National Tour win for Ayrton, and he's been making his name known across the country as well. Wayne Johnson, love the guy. It's his second win in the Hockett-McMillian Memorial and his 4th win at Lucas Oil Speedway, Steve.
No doubt about it. 5th ASCS National Tour win, 59th career win, and he is rolling, absolutely rolling along as well. So really, really fun stuff, that is for sure. If you want to hear more from Wayne, you can go back into our archives. He joined us Tuesday on our program, and Heath Moyle, the crew chief for Brent Marks, joined us as well on our program. So you can go back and always catch that stuff on wingnation.com or across the board, because we do more than just this television program. We also have a weekly show and a weekly podcast as well. Aaron Evernham, my co-host on that. So there you have it, turns 1 and turn 2. We're going to talk to the mayor. That's right, the mayor of Port Royal, Dylan Cisney. He's going to join us on the Hercules Tire Hotline. We'll do that next. Sage Fruit is a premium grower, packer, and shipper of Washington tree fruit. Apples, pears, and cherries, and it's always an exceptional eating experience, and they're grown in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. High-quality fruit, exceptional flavor, healthy snacking. Make sure when you go to your local grocery store, ask for Sage Fruit. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking. Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, and let's go to the Hercules Tire Hotline. Joining us also from the great state of Pennsylvania, Dylan Cisney is on the line. Hello, Dylan. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me back on.
Well, it is always good to chat with you. I've got a lot of questions for you. As the mayor of Port Royal, I've got a lot of questions, but I'm going to talk a little racing first. Kind of assess your 2022 season. There's a win there at Port Royal. There's a lot of top 5 finishes, some good top 10 finishes, but kind of assess how your season has gone so far, Dylan.
Yeah, it's just it was very up and down year. First time not driving the family-owned car, driving for Scott full-time this year, and gave him the best season we could for the most part. Just unfortunately, not all the pieces of the puzzle came together when you needed them to. Part shortages, things like that. And unfortunately, we had a couple of engine failures that seemed to hit all right in a row here, right around Speed Week time. So just the wrong time of the year to be down on parts. We ended up missing a lot of races. The plan was to be at Williams Grove full time and haven't been there, unfortunately, I think for 2 months, it feels like now. So kind of missed a lot of races, just trying to get our stuff built back up. While we were down on motors, we started to get them back together. And then the bad luck came with the cars, leading races and blowing tires and flipping cars and just getting stuff torn up. It wasn't really any fault of ours, just bad luck, it felt like. So just couldn't catch a break, but we had a fast car and we knew that. And we showed up and got the dream race win. We performed, I think, well at Knoxville, at least compared to our first year out there. And we had a good car for Fair Week, just the results don't necessarily show it.
All right, there is so much to talk about just in what you've said right there, but let's start with what you just said last. Fair Week obviously didn't go the way you wanted it to. The Tuscarora 50, you were part of a highlight reel for the wrong reasons. Dylan, pretty scary incident there. You were literally on fire. The wing collapsed down over the top. How are you feeling? What was that moment like? And then you had 2 guys come sort of to your rescue there to help put you out.
Yeah, it wasn't the Tuscarora 50 we wanted to have. We didn't really have the car we needed. We got in that through the B main, started in the back of the pack, and we started working our way up through the field there at the first 20, and then we stopped there for the fuel stop, changed the car a little bit, and just took it in the wrong direction. So we were kind of just making laps. It felt like there wasn't much I could do with it, and going into turn 3, the one lap, little Freddie broke an axle right in front of us and took us along for the ride. So kind of that moment you're thinking, darn, there's that Tuscarora 50 that we didn't get again. It's slipping through our fingers, and here we go for a tumble. And then you stop and realize, boy, it's on fire. It got hot in a hurry, and just kind of scrambling to get out of the car, and the wing kind of prevented me from getting out there right away. I tried to get out and had to get it shoved out of the way to jump kind of head first out of the car. So that was lucky that things worked out the way they did. I was lucky the car landed upright and I was able to get out. If it was on its side or upside down, I don't know if it would have been very easy or if I could have got out at all. And Logan and Danny and the safety crew, everybody was there in a hurry. So it was a bad situation, but it could have been a lot worse.
Logan Wagner and Danny Dietrich are the 2 drivers that ran to the rescue, and they're getting a lot of credit, rightly so they should, but also the safety workers at Port Royal, the all-star safety workers were right there as well, and everyone got you out of the car. Dylan, kind of take us behind the scenes, the aftermath of that. Have there been discussions? Have series people, manufacturers, has anyone reached out to you to kind of talk about, what you saw, what you experienced that maybe could be preventable as far as these cars, or is that not the way this thing works?
Yeah, that's pretty much the way it goes. I mean, first off, everybody did a great job. The Port Royal safety crew, the all-star officials, everybody. Not a lot of people know it, but I do a lot of training with our Port Royal safety and EMS crew. There's a lot of winners. I take a race-ready car to the local fire station. We've done mock-ups of wrecks with cars, frames, me and other drivers from other divisions. I've volunteered my time to be taken out on backboards by every paramedic and EMS personnel that we have, so everybody knows what to do in case of an accident. Just unfortunately, fire is one of them things that's hard to prevent. We can't mock that up over the winter and really predict what's going to happen when that situation comes. So I thought they did a good job. The head fire and safety guy from Port Royal, he was out at our shop Sunday morning to look at the car, try and learn what we can or can't do better. Um, I think it's just one of them things. You just got to look at everything. Maybe there's something you can improve on, but maybe there's not. You just can't predict these things. It's not a fixed element. When you have fire in a crashed car, there's always going to be something different of, is the driver in the car, out of the car? Why is the car on fire? Is it fuel? Is it oil? It's not as easy as a lot of people think. I know them guys took some criticism on the internet, but I thought everybody did a good job and everybody did what they were supposed to. We looked at the car, had some discussions, sent some pictures back and forth with Eric Walls and Tony Stewart and the all-star guys, and really everybody. It's a whole group effort. You just have to look at things and make things as safe as you can for the next time and hope that there isn't a next time. But at the end of the day, it's part of the sport. We're driving race cars with 30 gallons of fuel attached to the back of your seat, going 140 miles an hour. Things can go wrong. So, you just have to try and be as proactive as you can and, build another one and get ready to strap in and go again.
You mentioned it earlier. Obviously, you've been a driver car owner and now you're just a driver this year. What has the change been like? Has it taken anything off your plate pressure wise? Are we kind of in a different realm than you have been in the past, knowing that you've also had to field a car yourself?
Yeah, it's definitely different driving for somebody because, your fate's not necessarily in your hands. Most of the years growing up, I always had confidence that the family-owned car, Dad would never fire me. We didn't always agree and get along on things, but at the end of the day, I was confident we'd make it to the next race, even if we weren't happy with each other. But now, you're to a whole different level. There's a lot of sponsors, a lot of money invested here, and a lot of people that are planning on us doing good. So this was hopefully as rough of a year as you could have for a new car owner with everything we had to endure, but we made the most of it. We had a good car and we got a win there at Port Royal, and hey, we got 7 races left on our schedule, so hopefully that's a chance to win 7 more yet.
Well, and you talk about the upcoming schedule, and the upcoming schedule just isn't confined to Pennsylvania. You're actually, as this show will air, you're going to be up in Wisconsin, where Scott, your team owner, is. You guys did the trip last year. How important is it for you to get out there and race a couple of times with the IRA like you'll be doing this weekend?
Yeah, it's a fun trip. That's a fun area up there in Wisconsin and or Wisconsin. They always make fun of me. I don't say it right when I get up there apparently, but I don't have that accent. But it's a great place. I loved the fans last year and some nice old school fun tracks, and it really it had that at home old school racing feel to it. So it was great to do something different, go to places you haven't been before. Unfortunately, Dodge County got rained out, so hopefully the weather's good for this weekend, and we'll get Friday in at the half mile and then pretty much do a complete 180 and head to Plymouth, the little quarter-mile bull ring, and see what we can do there.
Dylan, the Pennsylvania guys always take a lot of flack for not getting off the porch. Obviously, making the trip to Wisconsin, you've made the trip to Knoxville the last 2 years. What's it like getting out of the state of Pennsylvania and racing somewhere different, especially, a place like Knoxville, a place like Wisconsin that's not really similar to what we have here?
Yeah, it makes you a better driver. It's always good to travel. The more places you race at, you always learn something, that you kind of put yourself in a box if you're on the same place all the time, because you just kind of have in the back of your head what you do to the car, what's going to work, how you drive the place. And all it takes is that one different track where, you do this to the car and it's not something you would have tried at home, or you just change your driving style a little bit in traffic, or just driving the track different itself. And you're like, well, man, why didn't I do that at home? Or why don't we ever try that? And that's what you got to do to be a better driver. So hopefully we can show up and just have a respectable run for some of our good Wisconsin sponsors up there. Gibbsville Cheese, Rocky Rococo, that's their home tracks. And Scott, he's only a few minutes away from Plymouth. So hopefully we can just go up and put on a good showing for everybody.
Dylan, Ashley tweeted a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, well, maybe she'd been in the wine or something. She tweeted that you were the new mayor of Port Royal. And I was like, what? Wait a minute. How did I miss that? Okay, so it is true. You are the mayor of the town, the borough of Port Royal. How and why did this happen?
Well, I guess it's kind of a long story, but there was some issues, I guess, involving the racetrack in the town over the past winter with some camping situations. And I kind of self-involved myself to get the ball rolling for what I thought needed to happen and get some of the residents involved. And since then, there's been some resignations on council. There's been new people appointed. Since then, the mayor that was in office there had resigned. And whenever it's in the middle of a term like that, then the council has the authority to basically just nominate and appoint a new mayor. And I was approached by a couple of the council members if that'd be something I'd be interested in. And I said yes. So I guess we'll see if that was a good answer or not here coming up. So they put me in at the last meeting last Monday, and I'm officially, well, I have to go to the courthouse yet. I got the papers with me to go get sworn in at the courthouse yet, maybe after this interview today. But then I will officially be the mayor of Port Royal, Pennsylvania. So that's pretty neat.
I love it. Dylan, I mean, obviously the mayor is very forward thinking for the town. It's very early in your tenure. Do you have any plans? I mean, what are some of the first things that you want to do as mayor of Port Royal?
Well, luckily, probably for me and everybody, is the mayor doesn't have a ton of authority, since we have a borough and you have a council. So everybody has to agree and vote on everything. But no, I'm just happy to be involved, happy to just kind of have a little insight on what's going on with our town. And, just want to keep everybody involved with everything, not just the racetrack, but just the town itself. It's where I've grown up. I've lived there for 30 years of my life. And, I want to see the best possible things happen for our town. And, really the racetrack is just a small part of that. There's a lot of things in our community that make Port Royal a great place. So, I'm just happy to be involved, and hopefully I can be someone to kind of bridge the gap and help everybody even work together better between us and the Speedway and everybody in the whole community, and just be someone to represent our town when I'm out here traveling the country as well.
Man, oh man, that is exciting. And I knew that there was problems up there with the camping and everything. And it's interesting. And do you feel like that things have settled down a little bit and everything is, kind of ready to move forward to the next phase of all those relationships?
I think so. Things were a little rough there for a while, and it's just a tough deal. When you have a racetrack like Port Royal in the confines of a town like it is at Port Royal, that's not an easy road to go down every day. There's not everybody's going to be for the racetrack. There's days I complain when I get up on Sunday morning and I got to vacuum all the clay out of the bottom of my pool. I complain about those damn race cars up there, and then you realize, well, that was me. But it's part of life. It's you have to work together, and it's a two-way street. So you just got to get everybody on the same page. There's got to be some give and take between everybody involved, and as long as everybody plays by the rules and things work out from here going forward, hopefully it'll be a long, good standing relationship to keep going.
All right. So can we still refer to you as Dylan, or do we have to call you Mr. Mayor now?
That's up to you.
Okay.
We might be marketing the mayor on some upcoming T-shirts. So keep an
Oh,
eye out on Facebook and see what we come up with.
I love that. I really do. Dylan, love what you do up there beyond the mayoral ship. I guess that's the right word. Appreciate you joining us here today, and best of luck in Wisconsin and then the balance of the season there in Pennsylvania. Thanks for your time here today.
Thanks for having me on.
There he is, the mayor of Port Royal, Dylan Cisney, joining us here on Wing Nation on the Hercules Tire Hotline. Stay with us. More in just a moment.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Ashley, Dylan Cisney, the mayor. I could not love that story anymore. What a great young man. We've talked about what a great guy he is. He's such a big part of the community up there, and now it's official. He's the mayor of that town. That is so neat. That just is so cool.
It's true, Steve. There's been a lot of angst, if you will, between the track and the borough the last couple of years. And as he said, a lot of people have resigned. Things are changing. And I think it's good that there's going to be somebody, like Dylan said, somebody who can bridge the gap, that has the best interests of the town, but also has the best interests of the racetrack, and making them work together.
And he's so young. We don't see young mayors in the world. I just think that that's a big part of it. We, a couple years ago, were up there. We met the former mayor who lived off the backstretch. Dylan was born off the backstretch. I wonder if that's a prerequisite. You have to live off the backstretch of the racetrack to be the mayor. We'll have to check into that and see. I love that. Love catching up with Dylan Cisney. Prior to that, we were taking a lap around the sprint car world, and let's continue. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3, and Ashley, the National Open is coming up next weekend. It is the 60th annual running, and batten down the hatches, because this is where business picks up in central Pennsylvania.
It's true. It's the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drinks Sprint Cars versus the Pennsylvania Posse. Friday is the preliminary night, 25-lap feature, $10,000 to win. Saturday night, the 40-lap National Open, $75,000 to the winner. And it is Twitter Central, Steve. And there's a whole lot that goes on at Williams Grove for the National Open.
There really is. I mean, it's a party, first off, and it is just absolutely, they'll roll in there on Monday and Tuesday and be there all week long. Fireworks. There's a chili cook-off. The chili cook-off is brought back now, so I can't wait to hear and see the results of that. And it is just absolutely amazing. Now, when we look at racing at Williams Grove, Ashley, boy, it is tough to see which side is going to come out on the end, and that's the sign of a good rivalry. Last year, this race, it was Carson Macedo representing the World of Outlaws. In the spring, it was Brent Marks representing the Posse. July, Lance DeWeese took it for the Posse, but Brad Sweet won the winner of the summer nationals for the Outlaws. This thing is about as even as I think we've seen this, Ashley, in quite some time. This is going to be a great, great race.
It's true, and thankfully, because for the longest time, it was always World of Outlaws dominant the last few years. So it's good to see that the Pennsylvania Posse are stepping up when it finally needs to happen. And hopefully we can come out on top again and maybe sweep the whole podium. Am I asking too much?
Oh, listen to her go. She's talking about getting Twitter fired up. She's going to have our Twitter fired up with comments like that. That's for sure. I just hope Brent Marks is able to make a few bucks on this because, bless his heart. I mean, bless his heart. He adds another $85,000 to this thing. Holy cow. All right, that's turn number 3. Turn number 4, also next weekend. One of the bucket list races on my race list, and I may not make this one because there's a lot of speculation what's going on at I-30 Speedway outside of Little Rock. It's the 35th annual Comp Cam Short Track Nationals. Now, they had a rain out of another race. They added a Thursday night program to it. Friday night is the prelim night. Saturday night, the Short Track Nationals, 40 laps. $15,041 to win. It pays $1,100 to start. $360 racing. That is a great purse. And Ashley, this race has a who's who of past winners.
It sure does. And the top of the list is none other than Steve Kinzer in 1988. He's won, that was his first of 3 wins at this race. Others include Sammy Swindell, Christopher Bell, Paul McMahon, Brad Sweet, Jason Myers, Jason Johnson, Gary Wright, Jason Sides. It's a who's who of sprint car racing, Steve.
Really, truly is. And when you look at the current ASCS drivers, Blake Hahn, a 3-time winner, Sam Haferteep won it in 2000. Now, Tim Crawley and Wayne Johnson have both won it, but that was back in the 90s. But they are feeling and looking awful young the way things are going this season. So the Short Track Nationals coming up, the CompCam Short Track Nationals, and again, a lot of speculation about the future or lack of future at I-30 Speedway. Get there. If you get a chance to go get there, that's for sure. We appreciate Dylan Cisney for joining us. More important than all of that, though, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation.